welcome to Law Talkie. Thanks for joining us today, ma'am. Today we have with us Ms. Amrita Jain. She is an associate at Singhania LLP and Singhania and Co LLP and a partner at Law Internships. So, ma'am, how would you like to introduce yourself to our viewers?
So about introducing myself, like Divya mentioned, I am an associate at Singhania and Co Bangalore, and I've been associated right after my graduation with this firm. And I'm also a partner at Law Internship. Law Internship is basically a platform wherein we connect students pursuing undergraduate or postgraduate courses with internship opportunities to various other firms. And Singhania, as per se, does not actually require an introduction. So I'm the corporate team working for Singhania here.
Okay, ma'am. So, ma'am, what made you choose law as your career?
What made me choose law? So when I think way back in the school, I used to be one person who would put forth arguments no matter whether I was right or wrong. And you had people and elderly telling you, "आप बहुत बोलते हो, वकील बनना चाहिए आपको तो बड़े होके." So the back of my mind, I always had this. Yes, I want to become a lawyer someday. And being a first generation lawyer myself, I had actually absolutely nobody to guide me or to be my role model or even be a mentor for that matter. So growing up, I knew I would face difficulties, but way back in my +2, I had the option called humanities to choose a stream, which is a combination of commerce and art subject. But I had political science as my main subject.
Yes.
Therein, we had topics like rule of law and equality before law, fundamental rights and duties, which I was inclined towards it. And then this is how I started gaining interest in law, and I knew that yes, this is what I actually want to pursue. Then I think since then, coming from Christ College in Bangalore, there was no looking back. Law has been growing, and I've been loving it with each and every passing day. And then you realize, the more opportunities this field has and the more challenges, but it's also very empowering at the same time. So yes, the love for it is growing with each passing day.
So, ma'am, I'm also a Christ graduate. This year, I graduated from Christ, and we all know how the Christ attendance criteria is so
Correct.
strict, and the code of dress is very strict. So, ma'am, how did you manage all of this? Like, we know we have a lot of CIs to do, we have a lot of attendance to maintain, and then plus you have completed your CS as well with the law.
Correct.
And ma'am, a lot of internships which you have done. So ma'am, what time management did you followed while pursuing your degree? And
Yes. So I would actually say, and being in Christ and the strict attendance of 85% and 75% was just medical, I would actually like to put it, I never had attendance below 90% and never in the entire 10 semesters. And I think in the first year itself, we had people coming from the Department of Professional Studies and guiding us to choose CS as an alternative, and they'll be providing us classes post 4 o'clock after 9 to 4 classes of law. And like I mentioned, I was from the humanities background. I did not know what a debit and credit also was because not being a commerce student. So I intended to take up CS, and then so we gave a foundation. For that, I had an all India rank in CS Foundation. So this inspired me to take up more seriously, and then I started taking classes post 4 o'clock till evening for CS also. This is how I balanced, and it was decent enough. Christ, though it's very hectic, the time schedule, but you still manage to take out time for yourself and your, the fun things that you do, and also balance your career with it. And with the internship opportunities also, I think I had a good part-time internship also with full-time internships, and it was good enough. In fact, I was heading committee also, and then they were being part of various committees also get you attendance somehow. So it was balanced.
ma'am, how are the internships helpful for a law student? So ma'am, very new to law. Yes, ma'am. So how it helps you to, the internships helps you to become a good law student? Like how are the internships helpful?
Okay. So like you are a graduate yourself, and I think you would know internship is not only to
Ma'am,
be
I was graduated from a bachelor's.
a bachelor.
Department of Professional Studies.
Department of Professional Studies. Oh, correct. Nice. 3-year course, that is?
Yes, ma'am. The finance and accountancy one.
Okay. Yes. So, but internship, so you see, Bar Council of India, where we graduate as a law student, it provides for 20 weeks of compulsory internship in a 5-year course and a 12 weeks of compulsory internship for a 3-year course. So, me being in a 5-year course, I was compulsory to have at least 20 weeks of internship to get my degree. So, like you wouldn't know, a 5-year course at the end of the 10th semester, we're supposed to present about the internship we have done so far, having a minimum of 20 weeks of internship. So, internships, yes, by curriculum, it was compulsory because 20 weeks is required to get your degree. Apart from that, internships, I think it's more about theoretical knowledge that we study in college in our classes. Unless you put in the practical field, you do not realize the importance of what you study in the class. So I think practical exposure is actually required for every student. This is why when you say how important internships are, the importance of internships is unparalleled, I would say. Unparalleled with the theoretical knowledge that we have in the class. Because, so right as a 5-year of law school, had I only been taught in the class and I did not attend any hearings or court hearing for that matter in the college during my internship days, I wouldn't know how a court functions. Like I'm in the corporate field, I work for NCLT. But I have appeared before various courts and the other tribunals also. So it's different how they're functioning. Had I not interned, I wouldn't know how the function of every court different is. That I require a green legal sheet paper before the court, but others court do not. So you tend to stay 1 or 2 years also right after your graduation to learn the little basics about the practical world if you have already interned in the first place. Because the practical exposure is actually required. So I think importance of internships, the Bar Council itself tells it's very important to practice. Apart from that, if you do not have a practical exposure, it's very difficult in the future. At least you lag a year or two right after your graduation when you enter the practical field.
What were your areas of interest which during your graduation, and how did you go about developing expertise in them?
Okay, so in the area of interest, like I said, I was also pursuing CS, company secretary, along with my law school. So I was always inclined towards company law and the corporate laws for that matter, because considering I was balancing CS with the law. And so right after my third year, I realized this is what I actually want to take my career forward into. So right after that, after third year of law school, the last 2 years, I focused my internship, focused my interest only towards the corporate law firm, practicing or interning with corporate professionals for that matter. I understand that whether I actually want to carry this forward or not, because I was liking the theoretical knowledge in the CS and even in the company law classes in my law college. But to get a practical exposure, I realized. And I think it was end of the 4th year, I knew this is what I wanted to do. And then right after college, I interned in a place, got a PPO, and then started working. So I'm specifically only working towards the corporate law for now. So I think this interests me, and this interest was gradually developed. It was not in the first year itself I decided that I want to get into it. I actually tried 2 to 3 couple of places, interned in different civil, criminal, corporate for that matter. And then I decided where my area of interest lies.
After practical knowledge.
After practical knowledge, correct. Because, I think when you are in a criminal law class, nothing is more interesting than a criminal law class, I tell you. But in a corporate law class, when you're teaching company, that's very procedural. You would never want to get into that field. But when you try practicing in the criminal law field, or when you appear for the magistrates or of that, even during internships, you go and assist your seniors. I was of the opinion that yes, this is not what I actually want to do in the future. This is not how I want to carry my, way forward. But though the theoretical classes of company law and the corporate were boring, the taxation was boring, but the practical field is what I enjoyed. So I think I would actually tell that how internships were so important to me, differentiating with the theoretical and the practical aspects also.
Okay, ma'am. So, ma'am, can you just tell us about who was your mentor who motivates you to pursue in a flow? Like after we get sometimes a span of time where we feel, okay, we are we need a mentor, inspiration. So, ma'am, who is your inspiration in this field? Like, who motivates you?
So, like I said, I never had a role model or a mentor while growing up, also, and also mentioning that a first generation lawyer, no one to look up to in my family or otherwise, also. So, it was generally the only reason also I took up CS and started doing it because I come from a family of CAs, chartered accountants, and my family has about some 19 to 20 CAs. So, and me not having a knowledge of any credit and debit, I actually looked up to them to take up this career, even side by side, and this is how I developed. About being role model, yes, I look up to my seniors in the firm also, like, and every day is a learning process. Every day in the code, not even just your seniors, but even in the code. Like in the morning when I had the session, you have a lot of people and a lot of advocates, senior advocates appearing. Every day is a learning process. So you do look up to it. I tend to look up to a lot of people around, but as a role model per se, I've never had a role model.
Okay, ma'am. So, ma'am, can you just tell us about how one needs to develop its skills and what are the skills which needs required to succeed in the legal profession? Because, ma'am, there are some students who pursue this law, the legal profession after very late. So, ma'am, how can you just like the skills which is required?
Okay, so I think the skills is just consistency, because I would say consistency and persistence and the hard work. Okay, so right after your graduation, after 5 years or 3 years of law school, also you have to be very persistent. You see people giving up on law because the career ahead is not easy. You do not get a chance like other fields of profession where you can succeed easily. Probably 5 years, 10 years down the line, you have to be very persistent with your work, put in number of say 15 hours a day, 20 hours a day for a minimum basic pay that you would get, especially when you're into litigation. So I think it's persistence and consistency in your work. And every day, like I said, it's a learning process. So keep learning, keep growing, and skills is learn from others. And yeah, this is how the skills basically, and also teamwork, I would say, especially when you're working in a team of various advocates. Though you know a particular field of law very well, also ensure that the others with the expertise in the other field of law work together, come to a conclusion, and then present your case or present to whatever your client wants. Because in the end of the day, you want to give your best. And to give your best, it's not only you, but you also require various opinions and expertise knowledge from the others also. So this is the kind of skill that you develop with time to time. And I would say you just have to be persistent and consistent and especially hardworking at the same time. Because the goal for in the field is not easy. It sure not is. If you dream to become, say, like Ram Jetmalani or, become like XYZ person, they do not get there. They have also struggled. So even us right now, if you tend to know that, I may be charging X amount of money after a year, that's not possible. You have to work hard for it, and the hard work could extend to n number of years also. So I think there it is. And also I would say I think there's a mismatch also. So I think one does not require to have knowledge of rocket science to know that there's a huge demand and supply gap in the market. So though there's X number of students enrolled in a law college in every particular year, but the supply, or basically the available opportunities, are very less. So, there's a huge demand and supply gap also in the market. So you have to consider all of it and start striving for your goal. It takes time, but one day you will reach there.
Yes, ma'am, sure. So, can you just tell us about your internship with the law like your venture with the law internships?
Yes, my venture with the law internship. So I would say I have always considered myself to be, say, one of those students, one of those average students who has had struggles, bagging an internship opportunity. Though probably bagging an internship opportunity wasn't so difficult, considering the other balancing of internship I had from the very first semester itself. But in the back of the mind was always there whether I would get an internship opportunity in this place or not, or during my internship holidays, or whether my interest, the field of area or the field of interest would be actually the law firm works in the same field or not. So it was always there in the back of my mind. And like I told you about the demand and how the demand of internship was, and the opportunities available in the market very less, there was always every student probably suffers through not having a good internship opportunity. So, when this idea came up right after law college, me and my friends we decided when how difficult an grabbing an internship opportunity is, considering the fixed criteria of 20 weeks of compulsory internship and 12 weeks of compulsory internship. Why not we start a platform where we can connect the students free of cost, in fact, and so that they can not we do not only connect the students with the internship opportunity, but also the area of interest. Probably this is where we have also had trouble. I would be applying for internships at 10 number of places, but if I get selected in one internship opportunity, but that will not probably serve the same area of interest that I have. So there was always this problem while suffering or while bagging an internship opportunity. So this is how this idea came about, where we tried, or where we are actually trying to connect students to various platforms with their area of interest. So I would
Okay,
say it's
ma'am.
actually based on our own experiences that we have had in the law school is how it has been turning out now.
Ma'am, what like made you choose Christ to pursue your law? Like, ma'am, because we know there are a lot of there's a stigma in the mind of the people. If you want to pursue law, then you should go for NLUs, Bangalore, etc. So, ma'am, can you just tell us your experience for choosing the college?
Yes. So for my plus two, I was in Delhi, and my sister, like I told you, they were all pursuing CA and CA, so they were all in Bangalore here. So right after my plus two, and I am from Nagaland. Okay, so there's a small place where we don't have any facilities, so we always have to travel outside for work and to study purposes. So right after Delhi, I had come to Bangalore to write my CLAT exam also because my sister was here and my parents way back in the Northeast. So here, riding CLAT either was an option to get into NLS Bangalore or the other places where I wasn't preferred to go because my sister being here. So at the same time, when I applied for Christ and I was due to write CLAT, I actually got into Christ. Then I realized, okay, probably I may not even give an exam for that matter because all in the end I had to be in Bangalore. So I got through Christ and I was like, okay, this is it. And I think in the end, when I was actually in Christ, I realized it's not the NLU tags that matter at the end of the day. It's how much you work hard to achieve your dreams and how much effort that you put. Even in the internship opportunities, in the school days itself, college days itself, we realized, though probably sometimes NLU students were given preferences, but once you get the opportunity and they realize that your work is equally good or probably so much better than the other colleges, you are generally preferred. And I think Christ does not have much of problems in gaining any opportunity. We are given an equal opportunity with the other colleges. Like in my firm also, I think we prefer more of Christ students or other private colleges students rather than NLU students. So that's not like any other firm is specifically restricted to NLU students, but I think the private colleges are gaining importance now. And I think in the morning only I read the news where even the NLS Bangalore are not taking up CLAT, are coming out of CLAT and conducting their own exam now. I think just today, I think. So I think it's just the matter of fact, a matter of time that all things are changing and the NLU tag won't be so much important.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, so can you just tell us about how have you ever dealt with the failure of business professional failure and how you handled it? Like there are ups and downs in everyone's life, and if there are ups, there'll always be a down. So, ma'am, how did you handle it?
Yes, I would say professional failures would say, me obviously starting as a fresher. And there are times when you are probably assisting your seniors in various work, and you have work throughout the day and throughout the week, and spend a lot of hours. And in the end, right before say, any proceeding, there's a senior advocate coming and just replacing you because they're seniors for that matter. So I think for me, it was more of I was actually laid low and I did not feel good about it. That I spent so much of hard work into it, and when I was supposed to represent the case or probably be present in a matter or so, it's the senior counsel coming through. So yes, I would say, but then again, in the end, you realize that it's just a step of learning. Now the seniors, because they have reached that level, they are the seniors for that matter. I wouldn't consider it a failure, but more like a learning step. And with every failure or every low, there's always a higher or upper version, right? So with every low comes the high. So you just know that, you can do better. And if there's a failure, if there's a sunset, there's a sunrise tomorrow again. So I think you just have the positive attitude and you would know that everything will fall in place.
Swam, if you could tell us, like, if you would, so if you could bring any law into force and what it would be and why. Generally,
Any law
when
into
we
force.
study this law and we think, okay, this should be there, this should be amended, etc. If anything from your side which you wanted and would it, why?
So I think, well, like any law in force, they're already in force in law, which I actually want, like, restricting the working hours. We already have under the law as a 9.5 working hours per day, but it's actually not mandatory or not followed. I would say we should restrict all of it. And even all those sexual harassment in workplaces, with there are already laws into place, but how much is it actually, how people know about it, though every company has a posh inculcated with them the policies, but not how much they actually follow it. So stricter laws, the laws though that we have, you wouldn't believe there are, I think, n number of laws in there. We do not even know. There's a law for everything in place, but how effectively those laws are put into place, I think there should be a change that should come about. There's a law for everything and anything, I think, out there. It's just that it's not in place and people do not know about it. So I think more
Yes,
education about,
unawareness.
yeah, unawareness, more education about the existing laws is what is required. So I think that is what should be more effective rather than implementing more laws day to by, with each passing day, try to ensure that the laws which are already existing, how do you implement them rather than, just making just laws for the sake of making them.
Can you talk us through a current issue affecting the law firms? Any current issue which is affecting any law firms?
See, current issue affecting the law firm, I think this pandemic has hit everyone hard, not only law firms per se, but I think every other profession for that matter, and in fact, any other business also for that matter. And I think if there's something which is affecting the law firms now is same, like the pandemic is hitting everyone hard, and about 5 6 months down the line, the law firms also, big law firms, are restricting to work from home processes. A lot of laying off are taking place and entrenchments is taking place. So I think this entire pandemic has hit everyone hard, and so with the law firm. And about the experiences again, what currently the law firms face is, if I work, say, for a tier two law firm, right after getting such exposure in 6 months or 8 months and working so hard and learning so much, the law firm also invests the time on a person and then they switch to another law firm. So this is something where the entire issue lies with the law firms. You should actually give your 2 to 3 years minimum to a firm to grow, because the firm also spends time on you for you to grow. So this is one of the major issues faced by law firms also, where you develop or you inculcate or you put your growth into the person for their growth, the career growth, and then they leave you and join another firm. So one of the major issues also takes place here. And this is why I think a lot of firms are also going for layoffs now, is because initially they don't want new generation coming in now, because they know right after the pandemic, probably if you're actually having work from home, they'll leave you someday. When why not invest now? I think one of the major reasons for layoff is because of it. The layoffs are actually only in the first 2 to 3 years of your career, especially which is taking place now in the law firms I know. So I think it's because they don't want to spend so much on the growth, because in the end they're gonna leave you, especially after 6 to 8 months. So yes.
Swam, these were the serious questions, so I'll come to the light. Swam, what are you planning for your long-term goals which you have? Like, if there is any specialization in particular area of interest which you like to do in future, or your own firm, anything planned as of now for your long-term goals? So, would you like to tell us?
See, long-term goals, I believe in short-term goals rather than the long-term goals, because, but about the long-term goals, yes, I wish to pursue masters in business law and carry my thing forward. And with respect to the firm, it's a new venture, it's coming in, growing. We probably 6 months down the line, we expect it to come to a larger scale, where we connect the students to various other firms on a very large numbers. We have been connecting to 200, 300 students by now. So we expect it to reach to 1,000 or probably a 4 to 5 digits in the near future. So that's about the long term of the law for my venture, the law internships. And with my career aspects, yes, it's going. It's a new learning day every day, new challenges, and so much empowerment. So it's growing.
Yes, ma'am. How do you motivate yourself when the pressure is off? Like it's a lot. When how do you motivate yourself? What do you do apart from this law?
So apart from law, you mean like my hobbies or my pastime?
Yes, ma'am. You can say that.
Okay, I watch a lot of series, so it's more like Netflix and chill in other way that we say generally. And too much of series is what I would say. I spend time, and I like going out, hanging around with friends, like partying and chilling. So these are the free time and the pastime that we carry forward. Like I look forward to apart from my work days.
How do you organize your time with the studies as well and the work which you are doing? So, how do you manage and assess your priorities? Like,
Yes. So again, your priorities also depends on your weekly schedule, right? And priorities change from time to time. Again, so like about balancing, like from the law school itself, like how I actually balance my law school with my other thing also. I think balancing has been okay. And I've always been a person, despite working hard, say probably even 1 o'clock in the night, where I'm stuck in the office for a matter tomorrow, I wouldn't actually sacrifice, or I would still go and hang out with my friends or chill for some time and then go to bed for a fresher day tomorrow. So there's always been a good balancing life. So I think by balancing, you don't prioritize things. According to me, priority changes with them. Don't prioritize things, but how can you balance all? Because equally, just because for your work, you cannot sacrifice on your family or your friends for that matter. Because in the end, they are going to stay. You wouldn't remember that I worked on work today, say for a matter today, after 3 years, but you would obviously remember the memories that you made. So you don't balance out. So you just balance out both, balance out your personal life and balance out your work life. And I think it just work as magic.
so yes, ma'am, it was a wonderful interview with you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being here. And ma'am, anything you would like to address at the end for our viewers, like who are just pursuing the law and who are already going with that? So, any your side view, so you can address.
Okay, thank you so much, Divya. First of all, it was a really interesting conversation, and thank you, Law Talkies, for having me. And about addressing the viewers, the laws who are currently in pursuing law, I would say, just ensure in the perspective of internships, ensure that you have a good practical exposure, because in the end, that is going to count, not only to complete your mandate fixed by the Bar Council, but also to have a very learning experience while doing internships, and just balance your life. It's not just do not play around, but also work hard. Like we say, work hard and play harder, I think. So I think just go with that and just balance your life, and everything is going to turn out to be wonderful.